I'll paint this handle and make some adjustments later on once everything's together. So this chain tensioner, I'm going to just loosely set it to where it's the least under tension, so right about there. For the speed control that meshes with this fan gear, normally the mesh with the fan gear is adjusted by two threaded holes here that have set screws set backwards, and then basically you rock the gear to mesh ideally with the fan gear. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to shim these outer holes or the inner holes as necessary to get the gear to mesh with the fan gear. I've got the speed control knob set on 10, so that should mesh with the very top of the fan gear. And the way it's meshing with the fan gear right now, I am going to have to put some shims underneath these bolts. Looks like it's going to take 2 washers. I've got some new bearings for the pinion that goes into the transmission frame. Both bearings have to be pressed in from the same side. This first bearing has to be pressed on through until it's flush with this other side. There we go. And then the second bearing gets pressed in. Okay, I'm about ready to put this transmission frame together along with the pinion and this flat belt pulley. The pinion that goes in the frame that came with the B244 is kind of messed up. The keyway is jimmied up, it's worn. The brass washer that goes around here was pretty much destroyed, and it looks like the back side of the cogs has worn. And then you see all this plate here. So someone, whoever worked on it last, the guy with a hammer that did everything with a hammer, he replaced it with something that is not even a woodruff key. I mean, I can go down to Ace Hardware and get a woodruff key, and this one does not fit, and so there's a bunch of slop in the gear the way it's working. So I'm going to use the pinion from one of the J180s that I worked on previously. It's in really good shape. It has a flat instead of a keyway, but that's not a problem. The gear is in good shape and there's no play. However, the flat belt pulley that this pinion goes into is really jimmied up, and I don't know if I can get a good photo, a good image of what's going on in that bore or not. But suffice it to say that there's a lot of slop in this pulley. So I'm going to either replace the pulley or I'm going to bore this out and put a sleeve in so that it will fit properly. So having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and assemble it, including the flat belt pulley with all the slop in it. And I just want to make sure it goes through the motions okay and the Reeves drive pulley works. And I want to investigate if I can get a larger pulley. If I can get a larger pulley, then that will reduce the feed rate, because these Yates machines have a really high feed rate on the stock. I think this machine is 40 to 70 feet per minute on the feed rate, so that's pretty fast. So this pinion has to go in before you put the big gear in. Well, as it turns out, you can't have the shaft fully inserted through the frame in order to get it into the socket here. So I pulled it part way out, And then I have just enough room for a lock nut back here. I'm going to temporarily put this pulley on just so I can kind of test the drivetrain, or at least the gear system. I'll need to take this linkage off in order to get the belt on. Okay, I just realized I just need to lower the fan. I'm going to temporarily lock this in place. We'll try spinning it up. I may have mentioned before that I will get a new belt. I just want to run everything through the motions and make sure the transmission and the Reeves drive are working okay. I'm not sure how well this will run with that belt damaged like that. Here we go. So yeah, that damaged belt is making quite a racket, but the gear and everything seems to be working pretty well. Let's try adjusting the speed control a little bit. So this Reeves drive, I don't really like the way that's wobbling. I don't know if that's that collar that's back on the motor or where that wobble's coming in from. Well, ideally my next task would be to get the drivetrain chain installed and get everything running. For one, I need to figure out what to do with this slightly wobbly Reeves drive, and I don't know if it's related to that collar, which has a sleeve in it that introduces some tolerance problems. The other is this flat belt pulley. I need to either repair this bore here by pressing in a new sleeve and reboring it to the proper size, or getting a new larger pulley. So I'm going to go offline for a little while and decide what to do with these items, and hopefully when we come back we'll make some more progress. So this is Yates American B244 signing off. We'll see you again soon.